For most of this season, the Boston Celtics have been living a reality that the rest of the NBA media is only now beginning to understand. Inside Boston, there has never been any doubt about Jaylen Brown. His value, his leadership, his consistency, and his ability to carry a team have been obvious for years. But outside the Celtics ecosystem, the conversation has always lagged behind the truth. Now, as the season approaches its halfway point, that truth is finally impossible to ignore. Jaylen Brown is no longer just a co-star. He is no longer just a complementary piece next to another superstar. He is performing like a true franchise centerpiece, and the numbers, the wins, and the context surrounding this Celtics season all point to the same conclusion. Jaylen Brown belongs in the MVP discussion, not as a courtesy mention, but as a legitimate contender. Through the first 36 games of the season, Boston has navigated what many believed would be a disastrous situation. Jayson Tatum, the face of the franchise and one of the league's most recognizable superstars, has been sidelined while recovering from a torn Achilles. For most teams, losing a player of that magnitude would signal a free fall in the standings. For the Celtics, it became the stage for Jaylen Brown to fully step into his own. Brown responded not just by maintaining Boston's competitiveness, but by elevating the entire team. Night after night, he has carried the offensive burden, dictated the pace of games, and delivered performances that rank among the best stretches of basketball in franchise history. His scoring average has climbed to 29.7 points per game, the highest of his career. His playmaking has reached new levels as well, with 4.9 assists per game, also a career best. Perhaps most impressively, he has done this while shooting over 50% from the field, a testament to both efficiency and shot selection. These are not empty numbers accumulated on a struggling team. The Celtics currently sit third in the Eastern Conference with a 23-13 record, a position few analysts predicted they would hold without Tatum available. That success has forced the national media to reevaluate their assumptions, and in doing so, they have begun to acknowledge what Celtics fans have known all along. That acknowledgement became official when Jaylen Brown climbed to third place on the latest NBA.com MVP ladder. The jump was significant. Brown rose 4 spots from his previous ranking, leaping over several players who had dominated national headlines earlier in the season. He now trails only Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the reigning MVP leading the Oklahoma City Thunder, and Nikola Jokic, the 3-time MVP anchoring the Denver Nuggets. This moment represents more than just a ranking update. It represents a shift in narrative. For years, Jaylen Brown's excellence has often been framed as secondary, even when his performances suggested otherwise. Now the conversation has changed. The league is beginning to talk about him not as an accessory to success, but as a driving force behind it. Inside the Celtics community, this recognition feels long overdue. Brown's production this season, combined with Boston's ability to win under difficult circumstances, creates a compelling MVP case. He has done everything asked of him and more, often carrying the emotional and competitive weight of the team on his shoulders. One game in particular seemed to act as a turning point for the broader media narrative. Brown's 50-point explosion against the Los Angeles Clippers served as a statement performance. It was not just the scoring total that stood out, but the way he controlled the game. He attacked mismatches, punished defensive lapses, and closed the game with authority. For many casual observers, that night was their introduction to the version of Jaylen Brown that Celtics fans see on a regular basis. Following that performance, Brown surged past several prominent names in the MVP race. Luka Doncic, Jalen Brunson, and Victor Wembanyama all found themselves behind Brown in the latest rankings. While each of those players has had impressive moments this season, the reality is that none of them have consistently matched Brown's combination of production, efficiency, team success, and availability. Availability, in particular, has become one of the most critical factors in modern MVP discussions. Since the introduction of the updated collective bargaining agreement in 2023, the league has placed a heavy emphasis on durability. Players must appear in at least 65 games to be eligible for major awards. This rule has fundamentally reshaped how MVP races unfold. In this environment, simply being excellent is no longer enough. Players must also be reliable. They must show up night after night, shoulder the workload, and remain available when their teams need them most. Jaylen Brown has done exactly that. He has missed just 2 games so far this season. A remarkable level of consistency in a league increasingly defined by load management and injury concerns. Meanwhile, other MVP candidates have begun to accumulate missed games. Luka Doncic has already dealt with multiple absences. Nikola Jokic, one of the most dominant players of his generation, has recently missed 5 consecutive games after hyperextending his knee. Reports suggest that Jokic may remain sidelined for much of January, a stretch that could significantly impact his eligibility if additional issues arise later in the season. This does not diminish Jokic's brilliance, but it highlights the reality of the current MVP landscape. The margin for error is smaller than ever. Every missed game matters. By simply staying healthy and available, Jaylen Brown is quietly strengthening his MVP case. What makes Brown's season even more impressive is the way he has evolved as a leader. With Tatum out, the responsibility of setting the tone has fallen squarely on Brown's shoulders. He has responded by becoming more vocal, more assertive, and more engaged on both ends of the floor. His defensive effort remains elite, his rebounding has been timely, and his willingness to facilitate offense shows a player fully committed to team success. There is also a psychological element at play. Brown has long operated in the shadow of narratives that questioned his ceiling, his consistency, or his fit alongside other stars. This season feels different. There is a sense of purpose in his game, a calm confidence that reflects a player who knows exactly who he is and what he can deliver. Historically, the Celtics franchise has been home to some of the greatest players the league has ever seen. Yet, remarkably, no Celtics player has won the MVP award since Larry Bird accomplished the feat in 1986, and also in 1984 and 1985. That drought has spanned decades, transcending eras, rosters, and playing styles. Jaylen Brown now finds himself with a legitimate opportunity to end that drought. It will not be easy. The MVP race is crowded with elite talent, and narratives can shift quickly as the season unfolds. Injuries, team records, and late-season surges will all play a role. But Brown has positioned himself as one of the most stable and compelling candidates in the field. Consistency is often undervalued in discussions about greatness, but it is the foundation of true excellence. Brown's ability to deliver high-level performances night after night, without dramatic fluctuations, sets him apart. His game is built on strength, skill, and discipline, rather than streaky shooting or reliance on whistles. That reliability translates to wins, and wins remain the most powerful argument in any MVP debate. As the season progresses, the spotlight on Jaylen Brown will only intensify. Every game becomes an opportunity to reinforce his case or invite new scrutiny. But if the first 36 games are any indication, Brown is more than prepared for that challenge. For Celtics fans, this moment feels like validation. For the rest of the league, it is a lesson in paying attention. Jaylen Brown has been this player for a long time. The difference now is that circumstances have aligned to make his impact impossible to dismiss. Whether or not he ultimately wins the MVP award, one thing is clear. Jaylen Brown has forced his way into the conversation through performance, durability, and leadership. In an era defined by super teams, load management, and fluctuating availability, his approach stands out as refreshingly straightforward. Show up, compete, and lead. The media may be learning this truth now, but in Boston it has never been a secret. And as the season continues to unfold, one question looms larger with each passing game. If Jaylen Brown keeps playing at this level, how long can the league afford to overlook him? If you enjoyed this deep dive into Jaylen Brown's season and his growing MVP case, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss future NBA analysis. Your support helps keep these conversations going, and it allows us to bring you deeper stories from around the league every week.